Good September evening, friends. I am headed out to the garden to pick some herbs. I'm working on a series of how it's made, all the different things that we sell at farmers markets. And tonight I'm picking some herbs to dry to put in herb mixes that we make. But I just had to show you this stunning arched trellis here. So for those that come to our local farmers market and have had magic lemonade, this is where the magic comes from. Isn't this gorgeous? This is butterfly pea plant. And when the buds dry like this, I will come and pick all of these right here. And that is what we dye the water with, that we mix into the lemonade to make it turn fuchsia. It's really cool. You can also use this plant to dye rice and pasta. It's really fun to play with. But right now I'm going to be harvesting some oregano and thyme and rosemary. So I'm going to show you how that is done. I'm afraid right now my garden has so many weeds in it. I have really struggled to keep up with my garden late this summer due to just circumstances. My dad got sick, and then just, okay, nope. I am afraid that my garden has a lot of weeds right now. It needs to be weeded so bad, but I have not had time to because we've been prepping for the Homesteaders of America conference, which I'm super excited to go to. But that's actually why I am out here harvesting this oregano, because I ran out of oregano making farm dust. So I am harvesting some more so that I can make a couple more batches of farm dust. 4,000 tickets were sold to this event. I have no idea what to expect as far as sales. So I'm just making a lot and hopefully it will sell. So I'm going to show you exactly how I trim all of my herbs so that they will grow out bigger and bushier and give me more harvest. You'll notice there's a main stem and then there's several places where these little ones are coming off. So at every little spot that there is leaves coming off, it will grow out. It's the same as with basil. I've done a video with basil before. So this one, can you see this well? You see how there's the big leaves? And then there's a little sprout that's got 4 leaves. If I were to trim right above that, these would each go out and form a whole nother stalk like this. So when you're trimming, most herbs are like this, I have found. If you'll trim right above a place like that, it makes your, whatever it is you're trimming, come in bushier. And sometimes it'll be little. Let's find a short one. Like this one's not terribly long, so they're not growing out. And even here, if you can see, there's just 2 little leaves. And if you look really, really close, you can see a tiny little spot where another leaf is going to come. But I can trim just above any of those and it will come in with 2. So that's what makes your herbs grow bushier and helps you to get more harvest out of one plant. Alright, so same thing on the thyme. If you look where every leaf is coming out, there's these little spots that will come out and spread. So you want to trim right above those so that it will grow out and be bushier. Thyme is so little. I'm trying to look. This is a spot where it looks like I've actually did that when it was little. I trimmed right here. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Nate, but I trimmed it off right here and these 2 came out. And so now, even if I look at that one, more are coming off of that, so I could trim it here and it would bush out more. And this back here is a globe basil. It's gotten, I think it's a globe basil, hold on. Yep, this is a globe basil. It normally doesn't get this tall, but I think it was just competing with this lemon basil back behind it. I did not plant either one of these. They just came up, and you see this one's starting to seed out. That one already is. But basil, it's really obvious to see that with. In fact, I'm just going to pull one off and then show you. Let's see. So there'll be one main stalk growing up, which is where these flowers are. And then you can see these coming off here. There's two coming off here. So anywhere where you trim right above that will make those go. And then even on these, you can already see where more would come off at each little junction. So I could trim right here, and this would come off, and this would come off. So on rosemary, it is less obvious because they are so little. But if you look to where these, there will be a long one, and then you see there's two little short ones. I hope that we're filming well enough for you to see that, because it's not very obvious at all. So here's a big one. So there's a long piece, and then two little short pieces. So if you just trim between those, this is my little rosemary. So I'm going to trim it pretty low so that it will bush out. You can see better when I've trimmed it. So there's the long pieces, and then there'll be two little pieces that come out. So if I trim it right above that, then this will end up growing a whole stalk like this. So it makes it bigger and bushier when you trim it that way. All right, now that I've shown you how I harvest all of my herbs, how do I dry them for our herb mixes? I have kind of an interesting way of drying herbs. So most of the time when you hear people talk about drying herbs, they talk about putting them in the oven at a low temperature for a few hours. But I stumbled across a different way to dry herbs on the amazing interwebs. My sister and I call it interwebs because my grandmother, who's passed away now, always had really weird names for things. Like, she thought that the web and the internet were two different things. So my sister and I coined the term the interwebs. But anyway, so I actually will take this in and wash it, and then I go ahead and pull all the leaves off of the stem because I don't like stems in my herbs. And then I put it kind of in a single layer. It can be a little bit stacked, but not terribly. In between two paper towels on a plate in the microwave. So I'll put it in the microwave and do 30-second burst. So 30 seconds, stop, and I'll kind of check it and do 30 more seconds. Sometimes I flip the whole enclosed paper towel because it's like laying in between two paper towels until it's dry enough. And I have found that doing it that way maintains its color so much better than dehydrating it in the air fryer, set on dehydrator mode, then trying to air fry it, then trying to dry it in the oven, and then hanging it upside down. Some people will dry them that way if you have time. It takes a lot longer to just hang it upside down. But the point in that being, I really like doing it that way because it keeps its color, and I think it keeps its flavor better. But you do have to be careful because on occasion, my sister does it this way too. On occasion, for whatever reason, you can start a small fire in your microwave. I'm not sure what causes it. I feel like when I've done it, it's when I haven't been vigilant to kind of open the paper towel, stir it around, or flip it. But you have to watch and make sure that like your paper towel isn't browning at all. I have only ever had it happen one time, and I do this like all the time. I dry a lot of herbs. We make a lot of herb mixes to sell at market. That's one of the ways that we make money for our farm. So I do this often, and I wouldn't tell you to do it if it was something, if like fires were common. It's only ever happened to me one time. But once I get all my herbs dried, then I mix them for our different herb mixes, and that's how it's made. So as I was out here collecting my basket of oregano, I just thought of a little addendum that I would like to add to my That's How It's Made. Occasionally, I run out of herbs and I have to order some to supplement the herbs that I grow. That does not happen very often, but because we are getting ready for a really large event, I did use some herbs that I had to order for the mixes that we are taking to Homesteaders of America. However, when I have to buy herbs to supplement what I have here, I do make sure that they are organically grown with no pesticides and synthetic fertilizers and that kind of thing, just like the herbs that we grow here on the farm.